What's good people? Immersive here, and I have with me 3 incomparable watches that I was going to use for a video on product photography. Now when I say incomparable, I'm not saying that they can't be compared. I'm just talking about the name of the brand. These particular watches come from their extensive collection of timepieces, and I'll talk a little bit about them later. But what I wanted to talk about today, it's a little bit off topic. When I was first getting into watches, I always struggled trying to adjust the bands, the various bands that are on these watches. Now I have 3 different watches here. Each of them have 3 different methods of securing their band. For me anyway, when I would get the watch, oftentimes the clasp would be too loose, and I'd struggle to get the band just right, or I would try myself and potentially damage the watch, or I have to go out of pocket to find a professional jeweler to do it, and there may be a cost associated with that. So when I had the opportunity to work with Incomparable, I thought maybe there are a few more that want to know how to get the band just right, how to adjust the watches themselves. So I'll go through each of these bands step by step, from least complicated to most complicated, and hopefully this helps somebody out that might be struggling with this. All right, so let's start with this one here. This one is from their Originals collection. The Originals collection, it's called Lucky Me. Features a beautiful leather band, pretty prominent face, and then this beautiful copper on the case that I think really goes well with the actual band. Personally, I like my watches to fit rather snugly on the wrist without pinching the skin. I don't know if you can see it here on this one, but I've got it pretty tight. Not a lot of movement there. I can fit 1 finger in pretty snugly. 2 fingers in is a bit more difficult. This watch in particular features what's called a pin buckle clasp. You can see it. This is pretty standard mechanism that's very similar to a belt buckle. And how it works is the pin here inserts into a hole on the strap, and the loose end goes into these loops here on the opposing strap. Pretty simple, straightforward mechanism. Now, that doesn't guarantee that it's gonna fit your wrist just because you're limited to the length of the strap. It fits my wrist, but you may need a larger or smaller band. And Incomparable has a pretty cool mechanism that's likely on other watches. It's these small nibs that are on the side that can allow you to remove the band with ease. You can swap out the bands if you like. To replace, you slide one of the pins into the hole here on the side of the watch, into these extensions. These extensions are called lugs, by the way. Pull on the nib handle here and allow it to snap back in place. Hear that click, and you give it a good tug to make sure that it's seated properly. Very nice. That's the pin buckle clasp. This watch here is from Incomparable's Advanced collection. This one's called Nightcap, the Advanced Nightcap, and you'll notice the metal band here. If this was leather, a leather band is called a strap, but since this is metal, it's referred to as a bracelet, okay? So you'll also see that on this watch, there's a different type of clasp, all right? This is called a sliding buckle. It secures the bracelet with a metal flap here with hooks that are on the underside. I don't know if you can. And they attach on the opposite metal receiver. There's a small bar here. So how would you adjust that? So it's called a sliding buckle because there is a receiver. This receiver slides along the bracelet, but it's locked in place right now. So in order to release it, you have to use a small flathead screwdriver. This is something you use for like electronics. So get your flathead screwdriver, slide it in here in this notch. Be careful, you don't want to snap anything or scratch up your watch. Make sure it's in there good. And you pop it open just like that. Once it's popped open, it can slide along the buckle. All right. Once you get it to the correct adjustment, close the snap until it actually snaps in place. It requires a bit of force, but you hear it pop, and now you know that it works. Then you try it on. So let's take this watch off. This, by the way, is the Mocha by Incomparable. Very nice watch. And try it on. Set the teeth in here. See if I can get closer. The teeth go into this metal bar like that, and then you snap it closed. So we've got the pin buckle, we've got the sliding buckle. Now we have what's called a deployant clasp. This one is the Elevate Link 9-7 watch. Really beautiful color on this one. Your hand goes through the linked bracelet. Your hand goes through here. It's all connected. One bracelet slides in here. Each side of this multi-hinge clasp closes in, and it closes with a snap. Okay, to release it, you just press the sides of the snap of the clasp, and it opens back up. How do you adjust it? I don't know if you saw, but on my wrist, super baggy. All right, so I want it to fit nicely without a lot of movement on here, without pinching the skin, on the back. You don't want it to be pinching into your skin. How do you do that? So I'm sure there's a multitude of ways, and you've probably seen a few videos on how exactly to adjust it. What I've learned over the years is using the right tools the first time saves you a lot of time and a lot of energy and potentially a lot of money in the future. My recommendation is to get this this link remover kit. This will cost maybe $10 on Amazon, and comes with everything you need. Whole kit here, and I'll put the link in the description on this particular one. So if you want to pick it up, go for it. It's really, really useful, and I'll show you how to use it. So realize that each bracelet is different. Your procedure, the exact procedure, may vary. What I recommend is trying to watch on and then estimating how many links that you really need to remove to get it to fit the way you want it to. So I've done this before, and I know that it's roughly 3 links that I have to remove, and then it'll fit just nicely. So the process is fairly simple. What you have to do is you have to remove the pivoting pins. There's pins in here, and you have to pay very close attention to the arrows that are on the watch. So there's arrows here on the bracelet. That's the direction that you have to push the pins out. Keep in mind that on the other side of the bracelet, they're the opposite way. So you're not pushing the pins out the same way on each side. Some watches may not have the arrows, so you have to pay close attention to the side that has the notch in it. The notch, there's a small slash through the pin. That's the wrong side. You don't want to push it out through that side because the pins will jam, and then you've got a bigger issue on your hand trying to get that pin out. Now that you've got that out the way, you know that you're going to only remove the links closest to the clasp, and you're only going to go in one direction to get the pin out for each of the links. What you do is you use this contraption here, and the first one's always a bit awkward, but how it works, essentially, it's a pin remover on a screw. It slides in here. Your watch band is going to sit flat on this surface, and the pin pushes the pin through. All right, that's how it works. Let's see if we can get this one started. All right, the first one's awkward because the whole bracelet's together. We're going to disconnect it going closest to the clasp. Now, once you have it set up, you've got it in, there's a small indent. That also lets you know that you're going the right way. There's a small indent, and that's where we're going to push this remover tool through. Once you've got it lined up, check to make sure that you're square on it. Make sure you're square on it. And then you're going to slowly turn that screw, and you can already see it was easy for it to come out. That's how I know I did it right. That pin came right out. And then you unscrew it, get it off the platform, and you see it, the pin is protruding a little bit. Pin is slightly protruding right there. And then after that, you just pull it out. So we've got that through. And remember, we're going to remove 1 on this side. So we do the same thing. 1 link. We're going to remove 1 link. So let's look at our arrows. See it a lot better now. Right here, the arrows. I'm going to line up my pin. Make sure you hold on to your pins, guys, because you're going to use it to reinsert to reconnect the link. Make sure you're lined up. You don't want to scratch up your watch. Push it through. Simple. Pull it out. The link falls free. All right? There's your link out. So what I'm doing, it was a little difficult to go back through the way that the arrow was. So I'm just basically going in reverse of the way that the pin came out of. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the smooth side and putting it in through first. Okay. So I go through that. And then I line up the pin. Do a bad job of keeping this in frame. Line up the pin. Like that. Little hammer here, and you tap it in place. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Make sure it's flush. And just like that, we've got a newly adjusted watch. When you check the fit, And look at that. You've adjusted your own watches. I'm proud of you. And I hope you're proud of yourself too. So if you like watches, I highly recommend Incomparable. They're gracious enough to provide these gorgeous timepieces for me to showcase and to photograph. They're a Black-owned luxury lifestyle brand that features not just timepieces but also eyewear. Let me see if I can pull out a couple more that I have of theirs. All right, so here's their XO watch. Very, very nice. This one is called Envy, and this nice rose gold one too. Rose gold is pretty dope. But they've got styles for all kinds of occasions, and you know, whether you're going for just a minimalist look, whether you're going for a minimalist look or something that's a little bit more opulent, a little bit more flashy, you can find it at incomparable.com. That's ncmprbl.com. You can go and put in code MMERSIVE10, that's immersive10, for 10% off your first purchase. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Not necessarily like this was just something that came to mind, but if you like the photography component of it and if you just enjoy following the kind of stuff that I put out, make sure to follow the channel, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on IG at Immersive, and thanks so much for watching the video. Take care.